Hey, 79 Herstles guy here again. The Top Gun, you might notice or realize that I've done a previous video on the Crosman 160 Pellgun, which is on the top. And I'm going to be focusing more or less, well, not more or less, more on the Ted Williams version of the Crosman 160, which you see below you. The Ted Williams, I'm a little confused, so hopefully someone can straighten me out. There was 3 variants, which I think I've mentioned. This one with the 160. The first variant had no barrel band. You'll see a barrel band on the Ted Williams, and then which is part of the second version had the barrel band. Excuse me. And then the third version had the trigger housing was a kind of a cast trigger housing that went in the bottom, which this is not. And if my understanding is correct, then Ted Williams was part of Sears in 1960 for about a decade or so. But I'm a little confused because this is all 1959, 1960. I'm not sure. So if someone wants to straighten me out, that'd be great. The Ted Williams version of the Crosman, I didn't know the difference between the two, but you can tell that there's a difference in the stocks. This one has the straight edge, and this is kind of the rounded. And my understanding is that the S331, I believe, is the rear peep sight. The Crosman it didn't come on to the third version, but clearly on the Ted Williams it was present. So the other thing that I noticed, that the Sears guns, or the guns that the Crosman knew that were going to go to the other places, the other manufacturers, I guess, had better. I've heard had better components. Now, just before this video, I took the CO2 cap off, and I noticed something different, and you'll probably notice it too. This is off the 160 in my left hand, and this is off the Ted Williams. And if you notice, this piercing knob, I guess, is cast in, and it's a little bit wider than the Ted Williams version, which has, I'm not sure if it's replaceable. It has 3 markings in the center. I'm not sure, but it's a little bit different in the cap. Maybe it has to do with the variations. I'm not sure. So that's another thing I guess I could have some update on. They did mark them differently, although it's very similar. You can tell the gun dimensions are pretty much the same. There's a little bit difference in the sight. It's a little taller, and I'm assuming that has to do with the rear peep sight. It's a little taller in the front. The Ted Williams is a match rifle. I don't know if that changes anything or if it's a little bit different. There's the sight, the Crosman S331 sight in the back for elevation, etc. And it bolts on. But otherwise, everything is pretty much the same. The serial number is a 171, if that helps anybody out to help me identify it. The year of manufacture, but I know they're both 22 caliber because they were both based on the 160 gun, and 167 would be the 177 caliber. Below right here, it says Sears and Roebuck, made in the USA, and then the CO2 22 caliber. And maybe you can't read this, but it says mod 126.1910. It's very hard to read and very light. There is in the back, there is a decorative piece between the the wood, which I believe is walnut, but I could be wrong. You can see it in the butt plate there. It's a little decorative piece. And there's also some storage where there wasn't in the Crosman 160 version. You could put an extra CO2 cartridge, I guess, or some BBs or some pellets or something else that you were going to fire. This gun I happened to run across when I wasn't looking for one, but I found it in an antique store sitting for sale, and what I thought was a great price. It was still under around $180 or something like that. I thought that was a great price, especially with the peep sight attached. It didn't come with the box or anything of that nature, but I did order a Ted Williams rifle/shotgun bag, which you see in the background, and I received it not too long ago for very inexpensive money. But I'm not sure if this was a leatherette or if this is actually made of leather, but it does fit the rifle very nicely and does a great job of covering/protecting it. So, but I was very confused about what the differences are. And so you can kind of see one-on-one, the stocks are the biggest thing. And I don't know if there's a difference in the interior or the innards of the gun itself. I've heard that these are better, like I said. And if the caps are any different or any indication, then that might be the case. I did notice that the mounting bolt or screw on the Ted Williams version is a little nut versus a screw-on or a finger tightening nut, but that might just have to be with the variations. Maybe it was a difference between the variations. So, anyway, thanks again for stopping by. And again, you're not the owner of the rifle or the weapon. You're just the caretaker. Thanks for stopping by and taking a look.